listening to Reignite, a podcast about how the housework is never done. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
With 2 new wardens at our side, it's time to see what we're working with. Our counselors, Captain Garavel, Seneschal Verrill, and Mistress Woolsey, all have something for us to work on. Everywhere we turn, someone is in need. While exploring the keep, we encounter a burglar, a stonemason, and a courier with missions for us to complete.
Yeah, in typical fantasy game fashion, there's a lot of to do.
Yeah. Like, we have a nice little task list.
Yeah. I forgot how much I like Seneschal Verrill. I mean, of course, you know, the voice actor, it's, now I'm going to blank on his name, but he's a familiar voice who's voiced a bunch of characters in Dragon Age already, but also on top of that, he's just, like, we'll get to it, but when you have the nobles, like, he's just, I like how, like, dismissive he is of them as well. It's just, he's a good character. I like him a lot. There's some
He's fine.
There's dimensions to these characters, but all of them do ultimately become forgettable because they don't mean much beyond this story. But I think that's kind of a big problem with Dragon Age Origins on the whole, is a lot of characters kind of never reappear. We complained about it with the werewolves and some other stuff like that just never show up again. But yeah, this is a lot of side questing that we do here. And it mostly starts with meeting these 3 captains, or these 3 important people. They're not all captains. There's only one captain.
Captains of my heart.
Right, exactly. But we meet them, find out what their jobs are at the keep for us. It's sort of like, you know, showing up for the first day of work and being introduced to your coworkers a little bit.
Yes. So my favorite of the 3 counselors is Mistress Woolsey.
Uh-huh.
I love her because she's your treasurer. She handles all your money.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very no nonsense. And when you say to her, like, why? Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
She goes, local men can't be trusted.
Yeah. And then Verrill is like, excuse me, I'm right here.
Gold corrupts even the most resolute soul. Like, she has the gravitas of like someone from the Chantry, without any of the Chantry bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
She's like, look, I handle the books. Stay on my good side.
Yeah, pretty much. And has apparently been working with the wardens for a long time. Like, she's been a part of this process for a long time. She's worked with other wardens besides ourselves.
Yeah, I think she's great. Everyone's grumpy with her. She's like, men hate me. And I'm like, you know what?
Mood.
I aspire.
Right.
I aspire for men to hate me as much as they hate you. It sounds so great. Seneschal Verrill, like I said, he's fine. He has more personality later when he can be grumpy about the nobles. Captain Garavel is like nothing. He's a guy.
Yeah, just another like soldier type character. We've seen his archetype a bajillion times in this game already.
It's like Cullen Light.
Diet Cullen.
Diet Cullen. Cullen Zero.
Cullen Zero.
But here are the missions that we pick up. There is an entrance to the Deep Road swarmed by Darkspawn wardens we're going to investigate, but we have to go to Amaranthine to figure out where the entrance was found. We also know that there are refugees outside the city gate. Seneschal Verrill tells us that Orlais has sent 12 wardens. Nearly all of them are dead, except there is Kristoff, who's still in the field investigating leads. The castle is built on a mountain of bones. Very homey.
Yeah, seems like a great idea.
Favorite thing that was said about this place. I'm like, oh, this extremely cursed and haunted location. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mistress Woolsey lets us know that the merchant caravans are being attacked, so we gotta talk to Mervis in order to figure out how we can stop that.
Yeah, they give us a bunch of stuff to do in the next area of the game. We won't really resolve most of this probably for another couple episodes, but it kind of gives us a 3-prong attack of the main story, of the 3 main things to investigate that lead us to progress the main story.
We meet lots of people. We meet an ambassador from the Circle, who is our enchanter and runesmith, which I'm really sad about this because I'm like, you have no personality. You are toast. I want Sandal.
Yeah, where's Sandal? Why is he not here? Especially when Woolsey at one point goes, oh, and there's some merchants here eager to sell who have endured through or traveled through. And I was like, oh, great, it's going to be our buddies. And it wasn't. I was very upset.
We meet Uriah, who is a merchant. We hear about a thief that was caught in the keep. It took 4 wardens to take him out. He is in the dungeons. We also meet our courier, who's just hanging out outside collecting our mail.
Yeah, and gives us some missions. This is essentially the new quest board, but it's a human instead of a quest board.
It's a very pretty person.
Yeah.
She's very pretty.
Yeah.
She gives us 2 letters, one about someone's daughter who is kidnapped and a family struggling with darkspawn attacking their farm. We do get some familiar faces. Wade and Heron are taking over the forge. Wade is the one who created the Drake scale armor for us. Heron is possibly a desire demon.
Yeah, this after playing the only redeeming thing about the Darkspawn DLC was seeing that, and like now thinking about it here and like, was that true? Or was that just for that DLC as a gag? We'll never know. But
we'll never know.
But Wade is as much a complainer as ever, bitching and moaning about not having the right supplies and not making anything good and having to deal with dirty common soldiers. And it's the same dynamic we've grown to love, ? And they give us a mission that we'll follow up on over time to get them resources like the Drake scales previously to make better armor. I'm entertained by these characters. They have no purpose in Dragon Age, but I'm entertained by them.
Yeah, they have good personalities.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely a gay couple. They are definitely a stereotype, but not a harmful stereotype, in my opinion.
No.
Like, it's more of a stereotype of a married couple than of a gay couple.
I would agree. I mean, the flamboyance of Wade, I think, is a little stereotypical, but not. But again, I agree. I don't think it's damaging.
Like, we know people like this, is what I'm saying.
There are gay people who are this dramatic and over the top. Just like there are straight people who are this dramatic and over the top.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, absolutely. I think it's more, you know what it is? It's a stereotype of a deep and troubled and never satisfied artist more, I think, than a queer person. Like,
They usually just go hand in hand, though.
I mean, they do. It's true. Especially in our circles. But, like, yeah, like, I think it's more of a stereotype of someone who's never satisfied with their work and constantly complains about it.
It's the same picture.
Yeah. Thank you. But, yeah, it was entertaining to run into them. And so we have a collection mission for them that we will just work on over time. Nothing major beyond that. We also meet a stonemason, a dwarf who is looking to improve the castle, and we find out from him that he was given money to do it, but it would just be enough to do paltry human work, and he doesn't want to do that. He wants to make it dwarven strong, which as a dwarven character, I was like, oh, yeah, of course, that makes sense. I mean, they don't know, humans don't know anything about anything. And
how much gold do you start with, by the way?
I don't
Did you check?
remember, but I gave him 80 sovereigns with ease.
I had almost 200 when I started.
I must have somewhere around that. Like, I didn't spend a lot of gold towards the end of the game. I mostly got gear from dungeons and always tried to remember to sell stuff, mostly because I never had room in my bags.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too. But I started with like close to 200. I did some shopping, and then I was able to give the 80 sovereigns, so that was fine.
Yeah.
Did you meet the most precious boy in all the land?
Maybe?
There's a kitten in the key.
Oh, yes. I saw the kitten.
You found the kitten?
Yes.
Did you pick up the kitten?
Yes.
Okay.
Because my character, though, based on... Well, first of all, I, as a human allergic to cats, still pick up and play with cats all the time. I endure the suffering afterwards. So I would have done it anyway, but my dwarf is not allergic to cats.
How convenient.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe his and I don't know. It's hard to say, but...
Is he allergic to strawberries?
I mean, could be. He hasn't eaten any in this game, as far as I know. So.
Are there strawberries in Ferelden?
There must be, right?
This is my question.
BioWare, answer for your crimes. Are there strawberries in Ferelden? Also, episode title: Are there strawberries in Ferelden?
Anyway, I gave the cat to Anders because I remembered the Tales of Sir Pouncelot in the books in the Circle of Magi in the tower. And he was so happy. It was so, like, at peace. He's just like, I love him. And I was like, I know you do.
Of course you do.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy for a good boy.
Yeah. I mean, the cat's a good boy for sure.
Did you have a conversation with Anders about Andraste?
No. Did you have to instigate it by just like talking to him, or
not by talking to him, by looking at the statue of Andraste that's in the courtyard?
Okay, yeah, no, I did not do that, so I didn't have that conversation.
Okay. Well, you look at the statue, and Anders has some comments about how pretty she is, and like, was she really such a looker? Like, how do we know? And then you just have a moment talking about Andraste, and it's a chance to get some approval.
Got it. Cool. Yeah.
So depending on how you feel about Andraste.
Yeah, I've played my characters pretty non-religious, agnostic to all of it, just because he's a dwarf, and dwarves don't really have much tie to religion in the same way that humans do here. So I'm not sure, but I don't know that I would be dismissive of a friend's belief either. So I guess I'll have to see when I have that conversation.
So we find out about this prisoner.
Yes.
We head into the dungeons.
Yes.
And we see a man.
Yes. And it's at this point that you can ask the guard to leave, so you can have a conversation with him. And what struck me when you do that is that you then just open the prison cell and walk in. Like,
yeah.
What?
What's up?
I mean, to the fact that you are the warden that slay, the archdemon, you have nothing to be afraid of. But it still feels fairly stupid to just walk into the prison cell. But either way, that's what we do.
I have a sword and he doesn't.
I mean, that's true.
I have magic and he doesn't. It will be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we find out that he is Nathaniel Howe, son of Rendon Howe, who was the treachery behind Logain and many of Logain's actions.
Yeah. And through this conversation, you find out that he returned because, one, he has nowhere else to really go, and two, because he just wanted his belongings back that were left behind here. That he was stealing, but he was stealing his stuff to reclaim what was his and then leave, and he was caught.
Yeah. So a couple of things we found out. He wasn't even in the country when all this happened.
Right.
None of his family had anything to do with it, but they're all being blacklisted just by virtue of being part of Rendon's family. He can't join the army. He can't do anything because he is basically a traitor in everyone's eyes. And all he wants is to just reclaim his family stuff and to leave. And that's it. And he even tells you, like, if you just let me go, I will probably come back and you might not catch me next time.
Yeah. And so you're given a few options here. Once you decide to deliberate a verdict, they bring Varel to help you finalize it, and you can either have him killed, give him his stuff and let him go, give him his stuff and conscript him, I believe, force him to join you. No, not here. Yeah, you can ask him to join you here. You're given a few different options, and so I'm curious.
You can just banish him without giving him his stuff, give him his stuff and leave, kill him, conscript him.
Right, and so
those are your options.
What did you choose here?
So here is where the options don't give flexibility. I want to offer him the chance to be a Grey Warden. Ask him if he wants the chance to prove that Howes aren't traitors. What better way to prove that than to join forces with the people that exposed his father's treachery in the first place?
Right.
But he deserves the option to decline.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to, he shouldn't have to. Like, he should just be able to take his family's things and leave in peace. My instinct is to offer conscription, so I just chose conscription, even though it doesn't allow you to have a conversation about it. But because my instinct is to be like, would you like to join the Wardens? Do you want to join the wardens? That is what I do. I conscript him.
So I still, so the I don't like his attitude particularly. He is very he clearly just wants his stuff and wants to go. He doesn't want to help. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to associate with his father. But still, it's his father that caused a lot of damage. That gives me almost no reason to trust him. So, but also wanting your own stuff back and wanting to just take off and be able to live your life, I understand and respect. So I gave him his stuff and told him to hit the bricks.
Dang, dude.
And which he does. He takes his stuff. He leaves. He kind of backhand thanks you for it. And then Varel pretty much disapproves of the whole ordeal. It's like, I hope you know what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I'm giving him what he came for, so he never comes back. And so he goes.
You hope.
I hope. Well, so there's more on that in a moment. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I conscript him. He's so cranky about it. But I very easily turn him around on it. So I think it's fine. It's less like, I don't want to do that, and more like, but everyone hates me. That's such a bad idea. Like, his concern is not that he absolutely just can't imagine doing it. It's more that, like, but everybody thinks I'm a traitor and everybody hates me. Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you make that choice? So he seems more interested than forced.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does.
And he survives. He survives conscription. That's it for that.
Yep. There'll be more for me in a moment. We'll get to it. Because from here on, the ransom is, so the ransom we have to leave so there are like 3 different locations that we can go to outside of the keep. There's Amaranthine and these 2 other locations for the side quests. And so the first of which is a ransom. A daughter has been kidnapped, and we are asked to go rescue her from bandits. And on the way to do that, I get a random battle, which immediately I'm like, ugh, fine. The random battle is Nathaniel Howe. He confronts me, and he's like, look, I know you probably think this is a terrible idea, but I want to join you.
Oh, dang.
I want to prove that I am I'm worth something and that I'm not my father. And Anders is immediate like, this is a terrible idea. Do not do this. Like, and Ogren's like, ugh, another one? I thought this was supposed to be an exclusive club. And so I talk back and forth with him for a while about why he wants to do it. And a lot of it is very much like there's this hint of deviousness in his tone. Like, he wants to get revenge almost on the people who like have shunned him, which I understand to a point. But after a lot of bickering and arguing back and forth with him, I tell him to hit the bricks again. I said,
Really?
I said that,
You're heartless.
So I don't see it that way.
I know, I'm teasing you.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. So first of all, I'm a rogue. I don't need a rogue on a meta level. Like, beat it. But also part of it is, and I think I did this, I think the last time when I played the game, when I played Awakening on stream, I killed him because he was related to Howe and I just wanted nothing to do with him. And then I didn't have a rogue, which was a bigger mistake. But no, I was like, look, I've made my decision. I let you go, so go. And he grumbles about it and then leaves. And that's that. I don't think I can get him again later. No,
I don't think so. I think that was it.
So yeah, like part of it was like I was playing true to my character, right? I've been deceived before. My character, I feel like, is trying to play things pretty straight and pretty logical. And to me, it didn't make sense to bring this person I could not trust and that whose father I definitely did not like or trust into the team. So, and based on Anders' reaction as well, I was like, well, Anders seems trustworthy, so I'll listen to him.
And I find this hilarious, especially after we had a conversation the other day where it was like, hello, fellow patron saint of second chances.
Yeah.
Talking about how in the past, second chances were given all the time.
Yes. I mean, part of it, I think, you know what? If I had encountered this person at a younger age, I might have, but I'm at a point in my life where, like, yes, I believe in second chances, of course, but I do not believe in third and fourth chances. And I think at this point, with just the Howe's name and everything we've talked about with Rendon Howe, I was like, no, I'm good. We've got because he's also an archer. It's like, we've got the archer thing covered. Thanks. So
you can restat them.
You can. It's true. No, yeah, of course. Liliana was an archer, and I made her a stabby rogue, for better or worse. So yeah, so I did not conscript Nathaniel Howe. I sent him away.
Gasp! Already, our DA2s are going to be different.
Yeah. Oh, is he in DA2?
He has a brief appearance.
See, and I wouldn't know that because I didn't have him.
He has a very brief appearance if you keep him as a warden.
Got it.
And he survives.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway.
So now we go to the ransom. So most of these missions are pretty combat focused. Ransom.
Yeah.
The ransom has some talking, so you are confronted by these. I love this because I have such a high persuade. I get away with so much. So you encounter these thieves who have this girl kidnapped, and they say, they were promised money from a noble, and you're like, yeah, we'll get to that. But first, I need to see that the girl is okay. So you persuade to do that. They bring out the girl, and then I go, all right, but now I'm not going to give you the gold until we have the girl. You can't be trusted. And they go, fine, send the girl over. And then immediately I go, well, that was the only thing keeping you alive. Now I'm going to kill you. And then I kill all the bandits.
I chose the intimidate path.
Nice.
Because I said, I started off with saying, I am the warden commander. And they all started shitting their pants. And they were like, we don't care. We still want our money. And I was like, I will kill you. And then half of them were like, okay, we're going to leave. We're just going to go now. Bye. And then the two that remain attack you, and then you kill them easily. And the girl just runs out of camp like, thanks, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm going to go home. Yeah, the end result was the same for me. She just leaves. But yeah, it was like one of those, like, I used a persuade, and I can't believe they did this. And then I used another one, and I was like, oh, I can't believe they did that either. Well, now you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because I've got everything I want.
How dumb do you have to be?
I mean, I have talked my way out of a situation or two, and I just think it's very funny that I pulled that off and then was like, well, I guess I'll kill you now anyway.
Yeah. It is possible for her to die during this exchange.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you don't have a high enough persuade or intimidate, she could be killed in the process. But good for us, she did not.
Speaking of killed, though, when we do the mission far afield, we arrive.
This one's unavoidable.
Yeah,
at least
we arrive at a farm that's being decimated by darkspawn. Combat, and we find the bodies of the folks who lived on the farm. We did not arrive soon enough, and they were killed by the darkspawn. And then we clear out the rest of the darkspawn.
Yeah, the only good, and it's not good, thing that I can say is that no matter what, we weren't going to find survivors.
Yeah, this is predetermined, this mission.
Yeah. So can alleviate your human guilt.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't have human guilt. I have dwarf guilt. It's very different.
Yeah, I meant you as a person.
Yeah.
Like you as a person playing this game. You don't have to feel guilty about that, at least.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, I think Awakening is going to break my heart because from what I remember, it's just impossible to protect everyone, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah. I mean, again, we've said before, this game is probably the darkest of the 3 games. 2 can be dark as well, but I think this gets pretty dark, and I think in a way that the other games have a little more levity, at least, than this one does.
Let's talk about the nobles.
Yes.
So one of the things that we have to do is now we are the Arl of Amaranthine. So we have to confer with the nobles that are on our Arling. I didn't super pay attention. And some people are pissed off because their fortunes were tied with Howe's, and some people are happy because fuck Howe. So we have to talk to all of them. But really, we actually only have to talk to 2 of them. 3 of them.
Yeah.
We only have to talk to 3. One is Sir Tamra, who lets us know that some nobles want to end my reign, so to speak. There's a conspiracy to murder the warden. She'll bring us the proof of that.
Yep.
Then there is Lord Edelbreck, who is concerned about the people, the farmers out in the countryside. And God, what is her name? There's another noble, and I
Oh,
didn't write down her name.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, there's another noble who stands opposed to Lord Edelbrecht, and she is more concerned about the city because the city is like what makes Amaranthine what it is. So she's more concerned about that, and she kind of impresses upon the warden how important it is to protect the city. While Edelbrecht is like, but if you don't protect the farmers, then you're not going to have any fucking food. So these are both very valid points.
Correct. And
Which
then
is
again,
annoying.
as you said initially, there's a third party who's like, everyone wants you to die. So I can find you proof, which apparently she will bring back to you if you give her the time.
Yeah. So what did you tell Seneschal Verrill about where to divert troops?
So it's interesting for the Seneschal. So the Seneschal didn't give me an option to divert troops anywhere yet. He asked how I'd want to proceed with, and maybe I just need to talk to him again. But he asked me how I wanted to proceed with the betrayal stuff, and so you have some options. Like you can have the soldiers do some spying to find out more information, or there's a contact called the Dark Wolf that you can talk to.
Oh, I chose the Dark Wolf.
And so I chose the Dark Wolf as well to find him.
I think you just missed the
conversation point. So yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't mean everybody dies. I'll have to talk to him again, but we'll find out. But I didn't get an option to divert troops from him.
If you don't give your own opinion, then it's left to Captain Garavel, who I think chooses the city.
Okay.
So I think that is the situation you have found yourself in.
Well, we will find out. But what about you, since you actually made a conscious choice?
I said let's do our best to protect everyone.
That's so, non-committal.
I know, but, you're both right. You are both correct. I can't say that one of you is wrong because you're both right.
True.
You are both right. We do need to protect the city, and we do need to protect our farmland. So, we need to put some soldiers in both places.
Right. It does make sense.
It's what we gotta do.
Just hopefully the soldiers aren't spread too thin and can't protect either.
I know. Well, hopefully I'll be able to get them everything that they need. I'm gonna try. Very hard.
Yeah. I also like after this, when you talk to Varel about the nobles, he's like, oh, just let me know anytime when you want me to clear everyone out. I mean, ask the nobles to leave.
Yeah.
He's had enough already.
Yeah. And that's kind of it for this episode. It's very short.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot of cleanup to streamline the rest of this Vigil Keep part, and then of course going to Amaranthine, because we do get a mission. There is apparently an entrance in the basement where the Darkspawn are getting in, and we pick up this quest that we can go down there. It caused a cave-in, which this Knight Commander will have the soldiers clear for us so we can go in and see where the Darkspawn are coming from and stop them. But it's pretty much a whole ass dungeon, and so we decided not to do it for this episode because it would have made it too long. So we're including it with some cleanup in the next episode. But we did pick up that quest, and that's the next place we're headed. Although I do have a sinking feeling that it's just going to be a whole lot of combat and not a lot of story. But I guess we'll see.
So I think we're not going to have a lot to talk about unless we're focusing on main quests.
Yeah, the side quests, and I hinted at this in the last episode, but I feel like the side quests, a lot of them are kind of subpar. Some of them are tied to the keep management part of this, and it's not a farming sim, but in some ways it does feel a little bit just with the material gathering and some other stuff and building up the keep, determining where the soldiers go. It's interesting. I don't know that I love it. But yeah, I mean, I am curious to see how our paths diverge now that I've declined a party member and maybe some other stuff. It's funny too, because when I made that choice with How, I thought you might make the same choice because you didn't want to give him a second chance, just because he's a dick. So
I didn't think he was that much of a dick. I kind of understood.
Okay. Well, I mean, we both understood about him wanting his stuff back, but yeah, so interesting. Anyway, it's nice to have divergent paths when we play these games, since it doesn't always happen.
Look, I understood. Dude was doing what he had to do. He wasn't even in the country.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So anyway, the next episode we'll be handling It Comes From Beneath and wrapping up the rest of the keep exploration, tying up any loose ends with quests and stuff before going to Amaranthine after that.
Okay. So that's it for us this week. If you like what you heard here, please follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod at Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook.com/ReignitePod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at Frankie B. Writes and at DJ_Stormageddon. And on Blue Sky, we are still Frankie B. Writes and just DJ Stormageddon, no underscore. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on that website to join in the conversation. You can also find links to the Discord server and to rating and reviewing us right down below in the show notes. We haven't gotten a new rating or review in quite some time, so it would be nice to get more of those. So please go do that on Spotify, Apple Pods, and wherever else you can rate and review.
I continue to be but a humble PhD researcher. If you like what I contribute to this show, you can kick me a few bucks on Venmo at FrankieBrad is hella rad.
I continue to do too much in too many places. You can find everything that I do at djstormageddon.com. Fun and Games Patreon has been growing. We've been using it as like a separate social site since, everything else is on fire. And so if you want to read articles written by me, by the time you're hearing this, Jeff and I will have released our top 10 games of the year list, which will be free to read. Usually we do threads on Twitter, but since that's been a shit show, we are doing it on our Patreon instead, and we'll be linking to it. So if you want to see what my top 10 games of the year were, Dragon Age Origins was not on that list, sorry. You can go read that at patreon.com/funandgamespod. We'd also like to thank Carter's husband, the one and only Case Aiken, a joke that as we get more and more distance from Carter being on the show, seems like it's less funny, yet I can't help but say it, for developing some incredible t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on their Teespring, and also a big shout out for him creating our individual episode art that he does for every single episode of the show.
Yes, Case is great.
It's true.
We'd like to thank Radek Wade and Echoes of Oblivion for our theme music.
We'd also like to thank the incredible Red Spinks for our not so brand new logo that we've had for quite some time right now. If you want to see more of his work, you can go to Chaos Does Art on Instagram. And you should also buy a shirt with our logo on it because it's awesome.
Yes, you should do that. Anyway, that's it for us. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon. Remember, Grey Wardens.
In war, victory.
In peace, vigilance.
In death, sacrifice.
Okay, bye. Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun, whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.